right? The title of this story is Sometimes Life Stings, and That's Okay. It's a true story committed to words by myself and illustrated by my sister, Robyn Fisher. So story time, you ready? Once there was a Canadian family from the city of Prince George. There was a dad, a mom, 2 sisters, a brother, and 2 little dogs. Prince George, for those that don't know where that is. This family loved adventures. They filled their days with them. They explored all the parks. They went sledding down the fastest hills and rode their bikes on the windiest trails. And when the chance for a really big adventure came, they were ready. They moved, all 5 of them, and their little dogs too, from Canada to the UAE, a very small country in the Middle East. UAE stands for United Arab Emirates. The people there were very nice and invited the little family to learn all about them. On special occasions, like their National Day, they dressed in the traditional clothing of the country. The people of the UAE are called Emiratis. They are religious and love God. They speak a language called Arabic. From their new friends, the family learned common words like Inshallah, God willing, and Alhamdulillah, thanks be to God. They lived some years in the UAE and they had many adventures. They liked to explore the deserts, the mountains, the big cities, and the sea. Many times their adventures led them to Oman. Oman is the UAE's neighbor. It was there they had one of their scariest adventures. They drove their little car in the company of good friends for hours and hours across the great Arabian desert in Oman. For a time, it seemed that the desert would never end. But it did end. They reached a land called Salalah on the sea. Salalah is green and beautiful with great cliffs that crash into the ocean. They camped on the beaches, they climbed coconut trees, they played in the ocean, and they explored. And when it was time to head home, they drove a little way back into the desert and camped near a wadi. A wadi is a river that is usually dry, but sometimes they have pools of water, perfect for swimming. They camped on a nice open spot high above the wadi, and in the morning they went exploring. They tried many paths to get to the water, but every path seemed too dangerous. So the dad left his family in camp and thought he would find a safe path alone. His little boy did not want to stay behind, and his dad did not want to leave him. They went together, the little boy following his dad. They came to a steep descent. The dad went on alone to see if it was safe for his son, and when they could not see each other, the little boy cried out, "Dad, bees!" The dad knew about Canadian bees and called back to him, "Stay calm, son. They won't hurt you if you stay still." But these were not Canadian bees. The little boy was crying out in pain and the dad was moving fast. "Run, son, run," he called. But his son did not run. The dad and the little boy were scared, but fear can help you move fast. They moved very fast. They were not little honeybees, but giant hornets. They stung and the dad ran faster. He slashed with his hat as he ran. In his panic, he slashed too hard. His hat fell away behind them. The dad did not stop. The dad ran all the way back to camp and the hornets followed. Seeing the hornets, his friends called, "Don't bring them into camp." Oh. They ran to the car. The little boy climbed inside, safe from the hornets. The dad turned to face the hornets. A towel laid on a chair nearby. Scooping up the towel, he waved it wildly, running into the desert, leading the hornets away. They followed. Turning, the dad fought with his towel like a whip. He was glad that there were not too many. Did he outrun them? Without enough friends to back them up, the Hornets lost that fight. When the danger had passed, Dad went back to check on his son in the car. The little boy was stung many times, and those stings really hurt. But tears sometimes help pain leave the body, and so the little boy cried. His dad was sad to see him hurt, and he talked softly to him. The little boy, through his tears, said, "Dad, I prayed, and God did not answer. I got stung anyway." "Oh, I don't know about that, son," the dad said softly. "I was there to help you, wasn't I? God won't keep us from every harm, or what would be the point in living?" The dad spoke calmly to a hurt son and gave him medicine to soothe the pain. With his son safe, the dad thought, "My hat!" It was back towards those terrible hornets. He put on all the clothes he had, armed himself with his towel, and walked back to find his hat. But when he found it, the hornets would not part with it. So he left his hat in the desert and took his family home. And when they were home, they learned about the hornets. They are called Oriental Hornets, Vespa orientalis. They make a pheromone, like a perfume, to signal the hornets in a colony to attack. Colonies can have as many as 900 hornets. Anything the pheromone touches, they will attack. And that made them wonder about the hat. Did the dad drop it by accident? Or was it an answer to the little boy's prayer? Alhamdulillah. For you see, nearly all the hornets stayed with the hat, and the little family went on and had many more adventures. Inshallah.